Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here. Well, we're actually seeing a little bit of sunshine break out this morning, and I think we'll see more as the day goes on. So don't be shocked to see that sunshine out there, but don't be fooled either because the bad weather is going to return. Let's start with a look at what's going on currently across the country. I'm going to loop this a couple of times. You can see we had a really strong storm system come through, unfortunately caused a deadly tornado along the coast. For us, we just had those thunderstorms that came through that were elevated. Thankfully, the cold air kind of helped us out, but you could see the expanse of Arctic air. And in fact, I'm going to turn on the temperatures here just to show you how brutally cold it is across the middle of the country. All-time record-breaking cold in some locations, deep down into Texas. Let me turn on the larger font so you can see these numbers. They're kind of gaudy. All the way down and deep into Texas. Look at some of these below zero readings around Dallas, North Texas. I think the second coldest temperature on record, Oklahoma City. So just brutally cold, straining the power system and the grid here across the middle of the country down into Texas, where they have their own grid just for the state, which is a problem because they can't get power from out of state. Gas lines freezing up, causing a lot of issues, just a short supply of natural gas to a lot of the power plants, causing some big time issues and just demand overwhelming the supply out there. So that's a kind of a look at what's going on right now. But what we're watching for going into tomorrow, and really as the skies clear out, it's great news right now. The problem is this high pressure, which you see over the Great Lakes, this is going to start pushing cold, dry air down the eastern facing slopes of the mountains. And we've got another storm system here, which is going to move a little bit further south. So two things are going to happen. This storm's going to track a little further south, and it's going to have some colder air to work with. It's not snow, but ice that we're worried about because this is still very shallow cold air in this setup. So let me show you how this unfolds. So let's take a look at how this unfolds. So here's our storm system here, and we'll go through time, and you'll see the system developing. Again, I don't know why it's showing rain. That is all either snow or ice. But you can see the system developing here over the next couple of days. We go into tomorrow, early in the morning. We should have a pretty potent winter storm affecting a big chunk of the middle of the country. Again, same area that was hit earlier, and I'm going to turn on the advisories here as I'm waiting for this to load. But you can see this storm kind of developing. What's going on here is we've got this cold air being advected or transported down here ahead of the system, and the low itself looks like it's forming down here, which is kind of crucial because that'll be more of a southerly track, which could pull in some colder air. Now, it's still not a snowstorm, and we just don't have the depth of the cold air or the ideal track. We'd want to see that low down in this area. Instead, it looks like it's going to be up here. Remember, the storm that just came through, the low was more up in here. So this is a tad further south, but you can see this is going into Thursday morning. This is 1 o'clock in the morning, basically midnight. We've got some cold air trapped here, and everywhere you see this red, that's sleet or freezing rain. And at times, you could see that freezing rain and sleet line kind of dances around very close to Charlotte, just to the north. But the area of greatest concern, again, is this Interstate 40 corridor going to the east. And you can see the heart of this, and I just put the winter storm watch on, and I'll show you that in a minute, is right in there. But it could last most of Thursday. I don't see it really getting out of here until late Thursday, maybe in the afternoon sometime. So potentially this could be a long duration event up there. And again, these are the winter storm watches which have been issued for the Greensboro, Winston-Salem area already ahead of this system. And primarily this is for ice. Now, I would not be surprised to see this expanded down here a little bit, and maybe even winter weather advisories down in here further to the south. So let me quickly show you our future cast, a close-up version of this. And I'm going to go slowly through time. Whoops. Oh, why can't you play? Let's try this again. All right, we'll try that again. That was kind of weird. So you can see the clearing skies today. Kind of nice, maybe low 50s if the sun gets out of here. But what happens tonight is temperatures really plummet real quickly. If the clouds don't move in, we could see lows in the 20s in a lot of locations and really dry air with that northeast wind. Tomorrow during the day, much colder than today, probably only in the mid 40s to upper 40s. But then here comes the moisture Thursday. And again, this is a piece of guidance we use in-house. It's a little more aggressive. It shows that cold air sinking pretty far to the south, close to Charlotte. So you see all the pink, that's the wintry mix and ice that lasts most of Thursday morning into the afternoon. Now, what I'm curious is how cold it does get down here. I actually think it's probably going to be more in this area, But this is still a question mark. It could get this far south. I don't count on it right now, but in my forecast, I'm going to keep it a little further north just because based on the track of this. But this is a trend we have to watch. We've seen the guidance trend colder and a little bit further south with some of the moisture. And notice you're talking the difference between 1/10 of a degree in many locations between ice and a cold rain. So it's going to be a close call in a lot of locations. But you can see how that freezing rain kind of persists into Thursday night and really could be around even into early Friday morning. So kind of what I'm thinking right now, and I'm going to show you my forecast for ice, is this right now. I expect this to be a pretty significant ice event right in here. Got a high confidence in that part of the forecast. Still got some question marks on this southern edge of this, and especially in here as well. So basically the reason you're seeing the winter storm watch out, that's where the highest confidence is that we're going to see an impactful winter event. But I really think areas Alexander, Caldwell, Northern Iredell, those are areas where my confidence is growing. Closer to Charlotte, a little bit more sketchy. I'll show you kind of the range of the models. This is a great product I show often that's called the blend of models, and I'll push this all the way through Friday evening. You kind of get the idea here. Real thick ice in this vicinity. But even from Hickory to Charlotte, we've got some light glazing going on here. So that's a trend we're going to have to watch real carefully. If I look at the Shref, which is another blend of different guidance, it's kind of along the same trends I'm thinking about. Significant icing in here, Interstate 40 corridor. So you're seeing a lot of data pointing towards that Interstate 40 corridor. And that there's a much bigger confidence in those regions because of that. I'll tell you what, it could be significant ice. Talking power outages, for days, trees down, that kind of thing. Anytime you get a 1/4 inch or higher, you really get concerned. Closer to Charlotte, it would be less of a power tree issue and more of icy roads possibly. But this is the uncertain part of the forecast. So right in here, down in here, I'm a little wary of that location. I'm going to change my color here. I'm a little wary of the locations down in here about how far south it is. So it's something to pay attention to in particular, because if we see this ice shift to the south at all, then we're going to have bigger issues in and around Charlotte. So it's something to keep an eye on. It's Tuesday. This is set for Thursday morning into the afternoon. So we're about 48 hours away. We're probably going to see an expansion of winter weather advisories or winter storm watches at some point today, tonight, or first thing tomorrow. Again, a lot of those are issued based on confidence in the forecast and the time frame. So this far out, 48 hours, if you see a watch out like we have for these areas up in here, the confidence is high for an impact. The reason you don't see watches here doesn't mean nothing's going to happen. It just means we're very uncertain at this time range. As we get closer, we'll probably see the advisories extended and watches probably issued for areas further south and west. So be weather aware. This is an ice event, not snow. I can't emphasize that enough. Ice, ice, ice is what we're worried about with this system. Stay tuned for further updates and enjoy the sunshine later this afternoon.